Next up is, can we end the show now? Is the coffee table. No, that's not something that Bruce and Eric has in their respective domiciles. This is a movie, and I don't know what else to say about it. Yeah.
La Mesita del Comedor.
Okay.
Because if you look up the coffee table, you're going to get a TV series. But if you look up La Mesita del Comedor, you'll get this.
Yeah, La Mesita del Comedor. Do you what?
Hey,
Well,
can I suggest something?
yeah, no.
How about
Yes.
we just talk about it?
Okay.
And then if we go too far, you'll just have to cut some stuff out. So anyone listening to this, if it like cuts out and comes back, you'll know that we probably said too much.
Very good, Eric. Yes. If you hear some kind of horrible edit like Greg Srisavasdi usually does on a weekly basis, it will be because this non sequitur, we went too far. In the story of Jesus and Maria, they are a bickering couple. You can tell they are sort of at wit's end with each other, exemplified by their recent sort of visit to maybe a furniture store or something like this, because they are arguing over a coffee table. And it looks like a very gaudy coffee table. It's glass table with these two fake gold sculptures of, are the women
Those
naked?
two naked women like connected at the feet or something like that.
Yeah, and they're the placeholders for that coffee table, and the glass itself is impenetrable. It's very strong. That's what the oily, slimy salesman says about the coffee table, is that it's indestructible. It'll make your life happy. Everything will be great. There's a whole monologue he does about how awesome the table is. And Maria is just going back and forth with the salesman telling him he's a ton of BS. He's dishing out a ton of BS. Catch is, though, I don't really know if Jesus really likes the coffee table, but this is his last stand as a man against Maria, because they're new parents, beautiful baby boy. And Jesus wants to have one final say. He wants a little piece of him in their respective apartment. So he is adamant about buying this coffee table. Eventually, Maria relents. They bring the coffee table back to their domicile, and the movie centers on Jesus, Maria, their baby. They're going to have actually Jesus's brother and 18-year-old girlfriend over for dinner. Should be a really nice, happy thing. But the problem is Jesus and Maria are arguing back and forth. You can tell they're really frustrated with each other. There's a lot of banter back and forth. Catches, the coffee table is not exactly the best coffee table in the world. Something very tragic happens. We're not going to mention specifically what happens, but the rest of the narrative deals with how Jesus is dealing with this situation with the coffee table, and how is he going to deal with it with Maria, his brother, the girlfriend, and also this young, 13-year-old neighbor who claims that Jesus has been actually in love with her. And that's a sort of another subplot behind the coffee table. It is a very interesting movie, to say the least. Let's start out with Eric Holmes and your reaction to the coffee table.
This definitely is kind of not the same, but in a similar ballpark of force majeure, where force majeure is a thing, the inciting incident happened and everyone witnessed it, and it's the fallout of them dealing with that. This one's a little different because the inciting incident happens. He needs to tell someone about it, but is trying to figure out how to do it. And the longer he waits to do that, the more difficult it is to mention it, because like you said, they got people coming over, like all this other stuff piles on top of that. You just see him basically stewing, and he just wants to let it out. And I think this movie's kind of sold as a dark comedy. Yeah. I guess we'll kind of leave it there. There's another story I kind of really want to compare this to, but that might be a little too much. Yeah, this is basically right at, and it's weird that we're like trying not to spoil what happens, because it's the thing that happens like within the first 5-10 minutes.
20,
But
like 15 minutes.
that's the thing that sets off the rest of the story.
Right.
But
Yeah.
But when you watch it, you'll know why we're dancing around it. It's basically the thing happens, and then we know what happens. The guy knows what happens. No one else does. So basically, we just get to watch him squirm for the rest of the movie and just kind of deal with the repercussions of that. And, just kind of internalize, how the hell am I going to say this now? I can't hide it, but I can't tell him. And like, you just see him tortured like throughout the entire thing.
Movie's directed by Caye Casas, written by Casas and Cristina Borobia. And like Eric says, the Spanish name is La Mesita Del Comedor. La Mesita del Comedor was suggested from Bruce Purkey. He wanted us to actually review it this week. This is one of the movies he wanted to actually review this week.
So it's Bruce's fault.
It might be Bruce's fault. It might be his fault, or it might be a blessing. It's very interesting. I'm glad that Bruce Purkey and Eric suggest films for us to watch on a given week, because to be honest, I miss so much stuff. And who knows? Bruce, The Coffee Table. Were you glad? Was this a missable movie, or are you glad that you recommended this movie for us to watch?
I mean, I'm glad that I watched it. I'm glad we recommended to watch it. I think it's interesting to see. This is a very hard recommend. Like, you have to know very well who you're recommending this movie to, because this is definitely one of those, you just recommend this willy-nilly kind of movies that people will hate you for that. People will say, like, what kind of a terrible person are you? It's funny because you mentioned Force Majeure. I kept thinking of A Christmas Story. Like, it starts out and it's the leg lamp. Basically, this table is the leg lamp.
I was thinking A Christmas Carol. I'm like, I don't.
So if you take that, if you take that leg lamp and instead it's this coffee table, and then the husband, wins and gets to bring it home, and he loves his leg lamp, the coffee table. But then the whole story ends up becoming, like Eric says, it becomes the bomb under the table of you get of Hitchcock. Where now, in this case it's a little different because the main character knows too, but none of the other characters know. And the difference also is this bomb is going to go off. You cannot stop this bomb from going off, and you cannot stop it from hitting other people. What do you do? It's also, I would think, and I was wondering what Eric thought about this. This is almost like a writer's exercise. Like, yes, you write a situation and you have to follow it through. Like, you cannot get a deus ex machina. There's no outs. You have to follow it through, and you have to have it go somewhere that it would have to go. Now, the characters and stuff that come into it, sure, those are all random. You could not have that happen. But the ultimate thing that's going to happen has to happen before the end of this story. Like, the knowledge has to be, I guess, discovered is all I will say. So I guess I respect this movie more than I enjoyed it, but I also kind of liked some of it a lot, and I kind of hated some of it a lot. I'm really, really torn on. This is one I'm really torn on. I will say, and I don't want to even mention what the poster is. There's a poster of a famous movie character and a famous scene from a famous movie on the wall in one of the rooms in this, which is an incredible, cruel joke based on what this movie's about. And if you guys didn't notice it, I'm not going to mention it here.
Oh, wow.
I will just say,
I think, oh,
okay. There's a poster of, if you have video now, you're getting spoiled. There's a poster of this.
All right.
With somebody, a very infamous scene from that movie.
Oh, very interesting. Oh, very, very interesting. So yeah, The Coffee Table. I messaged Bruce while watching it, and I said, this is a totally, I didn't even say uncomfortable. I said, this is a very uncomfy experience for me. I was frustrated with this movie. This is when you're in the confines of the main character and what he's going through, every single second you're just tense, and you're not supposed to enjoy this movie. Bruce was talking about an enjoyable movie. I know what you were saying, Bruce, but this is just a torturous experience to watch, and I think that's a compliment to director Caye Casas, because with a limited budget, the visuals are pretty flat, right? But I think that's sort of fits the genre, because this is a tragic situation. You want things to be pretty spare. There's definitely different angles and cuts to make this more alluring visually, but overall, this is just a closed-in, frustrating experience I was very frustrated by the end of the movie. I thought the third act was well done, and I think I was going to pan this movie initially, but ultimately my final judgment on this is I'm never going to watch this movie again.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is cinema. So I think as far as, look, are we going to watch 120 Days of Sodom again? I don't think so. I don't think the first time I saw it, I thought was enough. I'm glad I was able to see it. As far as film knowledge and history, this is one of the most uncomfortable films I've seen. And I think just based on those merits, also the actual what happens with the coffee table and the tension that's being built in this narrative, I believe this is worth a watch one time. As far as expand, and who knows, you might even like it more than me. Maybe Bruce and Eric like it more than me. So for me, The Coffee Table, mild recommendation, 3 stars. Eric Holmes.
First of all, the third act in this, just when you thought it couldn't get worse.
Right, of course. Yes.
This movie, oddly enough, I'd actually do want to watch this again. You can do it without the beginning and without the end, as great as they are, like within the context of this movie. But I really want to watch it again watch the conversations, because, when they're talking about the broken leg lamp and, I'm so excited to see the broken leg lamp. Where's it at? The conversations that they had when they're talking about the thing, not knowing that they're talking about the thing, is just too great to pass up. And I kind of want to watch it again just to see if there's any more kind of hidden sort of jabs. I didn't catch the thing Bruce was talking about, and
Neither did I. No.
still don't know that I completely get it, but you can tell me later.
We might do
thick.
a small spoiler section anyway, we thought about. If we do, I'll mention it there.
I mean, we kind of have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, this movie's not easy. Definitely not a recommend for everyone, but for what it's trying to get across, nails it. So I got to go 5 stars on this.
5 stars on the coffee table from Eric Holmes. What a praiseworthy review. 3 stars from me, Bruce. Wow.
I can't go 5 stars. I think I'm going to go 3-star banger on this movie. I think people who are into the vibe of this are going to love it. And I think people who like really push to the edge sort of transgressive movies will actually really enjoy this movie. I think it's going to find a very strong cult audience. So I'm going to give it 3-star banger for that reason.
Okay. Good. Bruce Purkey with the 3-star banger, 5 stars from Eric Holmes. 3
And
stars
hopefully
from me.
Greg didn't have to cut too much of that out.
No.
I think
Zero.
so. I think we did pretty good on that. I think it's enough to entice people. Like, what are they talking about? Like, what is? But just be warned.
Right. Be warned.
This is the kind of movie that will mess you up.
Yes, it will possibly mess you up. Bruce was saying about viewers who want transgressive cinema. Eric, you gave it 5 stars, highest rating among all 3 of us.
Oh, second
What's
highest. 6.9 is the highest.
All right, that's true. But what is right? Exactly. What is your warning for people? So 5 stars, but the caveat is for people who should not watch this, essentially.
It'd be a spoiler to say.
Oh, it'd be a spoiler. to
Angie
say.
Clark should not watch this.
Angie Clark can skip this one.
Right. So yeah. Okay.
Angie Clark, hit me up and I'll tell you exactly why you should skip this one. I will spoil the crap out of it for you. And you'll thank me later.
I am totally, Bruce, you and I are safe. I am going to lead this week for our social media stuff. Eric Holmes loves the coffee table. We'll get all the people. Everyone go see La Mesita Del Comedor. So we'll see. But okay. So that's that for that.